Okay, today I want to take you through some of the small things that are within our chat system that you may not be aware of, and see if I can explain why they're there or how they work, or help make chat more efficient for you. As you can see, chat is flashing, which means I have a message that I haven't read. So the first thing I can do is I can open up chat, and you can see the different messages that I have involved. If I wanted to expand that, you've got the small button down at the bottom that lets you scroll through your different messages. Another thing that we've done, I think, is different than most instant message systems. I know it's definitely different than the way my text messaging works on my cell phone, is when you click on a conversation, one of the things we identify is when you last left the conversation. So let's say you go into a meeting. The meeting takes an hour, and within that hour there's 30, 40, 50 comments made on this particular conversation. What we do is we bring you back to where you last left off so that you can catch up. And so as you can see, it identifies when I last read, and everything below this red indicates that I've not read these items yet. So what I need to do is just kind of scroll down, and as you can see, there's 4 or 5 messages there that I haven't read. So that's something our system does. It's a little bit different than others. The other thing that we do is, obviously, we can invite people within our system, but we can also invite people with just using an email address, and you can add and subtract participants as you go along in the conversation. Now, the question always comes up, can the person see the conversation? If we add them halfway through, can they still see the entire conversation? And the answer to that is yes. We left that in there. Feedback from our beta users is that they did not want to have to catch somebody up. If they were adding them to the conversation, they wanted them to be able to simply send them a message and say, hey, please go back to the start of this conversation and get caught up and give me your thoughts, instead of having to copy and paste into a new system. We say that if you want to invite somebody else into a conversation and you don't want them to see the history, then it's best just to start a new conversation. You can have as many conversations as you like, and as many conversations tied to particular cases and projects and things of that nature. So some other things that we have the ability to do is, when you're in here and you're looking at the expanded view, a simple way to add somebody to your list is simply by clicking on their name. Let me also point out that the green check mark means these are the individuals that have read this, that have last read this conversation. So I can see that Brian R. and Dave A. have not gotten back into their system. Now, we can tell you when they've gotten into the system and opened the pane. We can't actually tell you when they've read the comments. Hopefully, if they're taking the time to open it, they're taking the time to read the comments. But if you'd like to get Melissa into your connections, simply double click. It brings up Melissa. If you want to fill in her work number, her extension, her mobile number, and those things, all you have to do is update, and you can see, well, Melissa is actually under my name right here. You can see it added. That's because of the testing that we're doing. So anyway, to remove a contact, simply come here, click the button, verify that you want to have them removed, and they will be removed. It's as simple as that. In the future, we're going to be adding groups into these connections so that you'll be able to establish a group. Maybe it's a particular project management team you're working with, or a particular set of management team plus customers. You'll be able to build and control your own groups. So some of the things that we have in the menu is obviously adding the connection from a manual standpoint, the ability to enter information on your own profile. We do lock down a few things like login name, simply because we utilize that to connect all these parts together within PTS and within the chat system. And one of the things that's real important is the time zone. So if you, when you initially set up, we'll ask you what your time zone is. But if for some reason you get transferred to another office in a different time zone, it's best that you go and change that. Otherwise, you'll be viewing messages that are time stamped with the wrong time zone. Some of the other simple things, the edit passwords, self-explanatory, but the edit notifications. This is where you tell the system what to do when you're at your desktop utilizing PTS and when you're away from your desktop. So the first one is the when you're online. We can identify when you've got PTS and or chat open via the phone or your desktop. And so to eliminate emails and notifications, if we identify that you're on, we do not send you an email. But there's two things that you can do. You can either have it, well, three things. You can have it to not notify you at all. You can have it to flash the open chat tab, and you can have it open the conversation list automatically. The default is flash the open chat tab. And then when you're offline or away from your system, we can notify you in two different ways. Either send you an email message or send it as a text message. In the future, we'll be building a mobile app that will receive push notifications, and you'll be able to get those notifications on your cell phone. And then, some of the things that so now one of the things I want to do is I would like to show you what it looks like on a cell phone. I'm not smart enough to figure out how to get my cell phone actually up on the screen to video this, but one of the things I can do is show you when you access it via your tablet or your cell phone. Basically what you'll do is you'll go in to the chat website and you'll hit login. Once you go to log in, you enter your username and password and you sign in with that. Oops, sorry about that. And what that does is it brings up basically the exact same program that you're used to. Now to emulate the phone, what I'm going to do is resize my screen. If I can figure out how to do this. And as you can see, it changes view so that it looks more like a text messaging system. You can still tab through, and I like using this on my phone because it gives me a real simple view to look at. And then if I want to see the message, I simply click on the message and it brings up the message block, and do the same thing. I just type response, and that's pretty much it. So there you go. That's how simple the system is to use. So a few other things I can note on here. If you need to change or add or update the information from the database, you do it right here at the top of the conversation. And if you ever need to opt out or archive, so if you start the conversation, you're the only one that can archive the conversation. The conversation doesn't disappear; it just moves it out of your conversation list. We actually leave it there for 48 hours so that you can change your mind if you wish. Otherwise, after that, it becomes a archived conversation, and you can only find it by going to the Advanced Search tab. If you have not started, if you're not the one that started the conversation, then what you'll do is you'll see an opt-out button. I think all these are conversations that I actually started. So yeah, they're all things that I would have to archive. So if I wanted to archive that, I can archive it. And as you can see, it turns gray and it puts it at the bottom of my list. So just wanted to kind of show you that. Let me see if I can log in. I'm going to log out real quick. And I'm going to log in as a customer. And show you the client portal. And so now I can see that she has some chats that she hasn't read, and you can open these up. Also, you have the ability to scroll through your conversations by using these buttons, and then simply open the conversation. As you can see, hers is changed. So if she wants to opt out of this conversation, all she has to do is opt out. And now she's opted out of the conversation. As you can see, the conversation completely disappears from her screen. So that's about it. It's a pretty simple product. If you have any feedback, please share it with us. Thank you.